5 years and no fruit. I'm about sick of this tree. It gotta go. No, wait. Before you send this tree home to glory, hear me out. Let me show you some ways you can actually get fruit and not have to cut this down. All right. So the real reason this tree has not fruited is not the tree, it's the situation it's in. So let me walk you through the reasons it's not producing and exactly what to do so we can fix it together today. Hi, I am Tony here in Florida Zone 10A. So today we're going over a few reasons why you may not see fruit on your fruit trees after a few years. The first one, you over pruned your trees last year and it stopped fruiting. It's likely because you cut off the branches that make fruit. This one I didn't care about because it's blocking a lot of my shade. So I went straight scissor happy and I cut a lot of the main branches. So some trees may fruit on new wood and others on harder branches. If you cut the wrong one, you're removing all the places the fruit was supposed to grow. For instance, peaches and nectarines fruit on last year branches, and mango fruit forms on older wood. Now your citrus can actually fruit on new and old wood. It just really depends on timing. That is why it is so important to understand your tree. So take a moment, look at the variety and where it fruits. Those little buds on older wood, that is exactly where the next season will come. So protect them. So one wrong cut set me back a whole year? Seriously? All right, I guess you got one more year to live. But maybe pruning is not your issue. So let's look at another reason why fruit is not appearing on your fruit trees. Ooh. These are our Barbados cherries and they're so delicious. So if your tree has been giving you nothing but beauty pageants and lush leaves and not a single fruit, they have tall structures, that means it is in growth mode, not production mode. Usually that happens when it has too much nitrogen, and nitrogen is leaf fuel, not fruit fuel. That's a lot of F's. Fruit fuel. Okay, I ain't gonna try. Look at what you are feeding it. If the fertilizer has a big first number, put that bag away. Switch to something that tells the tree it's time to produce and use it right before fruiting season. So let's talk about these beautiful bananas we have going here. It needs some nitrogen also. So we moved these bananas from other areas of our house because we wanted a dedicated area for these bananas because they can take over if you let them. So we wanted what we call a banana alley. So we have quite a few different varieties of bananas here, but prior to moving them, we had some in the ground. It was about 3 years and nothing. They were just, they looked like what my husband would call them ornamental trees. They weren't doing nothing. And 2 seconds before we was about to dig that up, we did some research and learned that bananas are heavy feeders. So you gotta constantly feed them. Once you feed them, they're gonna give you racks and racks of bananas that you can't even handle. So we did that, and I think so first off, it was 3 years. After the 3 years, when we started finally fitting it the right fertilizer, my husband actually got a banana specific fertilizer. And once we did that, within, I would say a good 3 months, we saw the flowers coming down in every single tree from that banana tree, month after month after month. Feed your plants and they're gonna feed you back. So you're telling me all this thing needed was fertilizer? Oh, yes, it happens to the best of us. Oh my goodness, these trees are so needy. Now, if your leaves are not the problem, check this next one. So if you planted from seed, your tree has to build maturity from scratch. That can take 6 to 8 years before reliable fruit. And the fruit may not even match the parent tree. I love doing fruit from seed, but you just gotta be patient. So now if you have a grafted tree, that means the top of the tree, the fruiting part came from a proven tree variety and it's attached to a stronger root. So this gives you fruit faster and the fruit quality is guaranteed. Here's what to look for. You want to find a grafted line on the trunk and it looks slightly bent or scarred near the lower part of your tree. The graft should always be visible above the soil line. So if you bury it too deep, you want to lift that tree slightly and expose the graft. So if you want faster fruit and you just don't have the time and wait 6 years, that depends on what type of fruit you're growing. But you can always look for grafted trees when buying. Just check for the labels for the exact variety and check how long it takes to fruit and confirm whether that variety needs a pollination partner, because you don't want to just buy one. All right, so take a look at how many mango trees we have growing here. We have a Valencia Pride over here. What is this one? This is a coconut cream right over here. This is, oh, I love this one. This is our M4. And this is either a lemon meringue or a lemon zest. But there's a reason we have so many different mango varieties, because some fruit trees cannot do this alone. Like apples or pears, most of plums, some peaches and avocados, and even some blueberries. I've grown blueberries for a few years and no fruit. They were getting flowers, but no fruit. Then I realized I needed to add more blueberries nearby, because they do better. They perform better when they have a buddy nearby. Some people don't like to be alone. Trees don't either. So you can't have a single tree and think it's not lonely. It's lonely. It needs a friend, a mate, a spouse, somebody to help them produce more fruit. So they need the right match, and they also need to make sure they're blooming at the same time, close enough for bees to bounce from one tree to another. Because if the partner tree is too far across the yard, or it blooms weeks earlier, pollination fails and the flower drops. So if you want to invite the bees and invite the pollinators, you can help them out. You can plant something they love nearby, and that's why you'll see across our trees we have, you can see it from behind me, you see the marigolds on the bottom of the trees. Is to invite the pollinators. The other option is you can give them a small landing dish with water, because more bee visits equal more fruit. So you saw flowers and got excited, just like I would. Then everything just dropped. That means pollination actually failed. So pollination is the bridge between flowers to fruit. And if humidity is low, pollens would just blow away. And if no bees or butterflies visit, nothing actually happens during bloom. So what you can do is mist the flowers in the morning, or do hand pollination if needed, and give the tree some calcium and boron. That will keep the fruit attached to bring in more pollinators. You can also plant basil, oregano, lavender, and some sunflowers near your tree. Let's look at how the tree is shaped. If your tree is tall like this one and it's just shooting out long branches, that signals more height, not fruit. So you can guide your young branches outwards like a canopy and let sunlight reach the whole branch. Fruit will most likely develop along that line, because you're allowing the sun in and you're allowing airflow between your trees. So even a well-shaped tree can fail if it's not built for your yard. So I have to show y'all our baby coconut tree, right? This don't belong here. It don't, because we're in Central Florida. I'm a Miami girl and I love my coconuts. We got coconut will fall from the tree and you don't have to do nothing in Miami and it will grow. Here, it's a lot of work, because if you're pushing a tropical tree in a cool pocket or a high chill variety in Florida heat, nature will fight you every step of the way. We are babysitting that coconut because we lost another one. It got a little cold here and we lost the other coconut, so we have one in the front. We just make sure we plant a few in different areas to increase our odds of getting fruit. So know your zone, know what trees actually survive in your area before you put the tree down. We always, now I'm not telling you can't push your zone, you can. So I would love to hear, which tree are you growing that you know you shouldn't be putting in your backyard? If you have weed or grass and they're tight against the trunk of your trees, pull them out. Your trees should not be competing for food or sitting in constant moisture against the bark. So mulch around the area. We try. I do the best I can. So let the trunk breathe so you can allow a clear base, which gives more energy to producing fruit. That's an easy one. So if anything, go around your trees and make sure that it is not stacked up against grass or weeds. So let's talk about some health issues that your tree may be facing and is why it's not producing fruit. So if you have some yellowing leaves, like this one was in our front yard and it was suffering because we brought it home and left it in the front and neglected it. So your tree is going to tell you what's wrong with it. If you're seeing yellowing leaves or sticky leaves, or the trunk looks stressed, the tree is fighting something and it will stop producing fruit. So you want to check behind your leaves for pests. Make sure the roots are not sitting in water, and open the canopy to improve airflow and sunlight. And here's a big one that most people miss is stop moving your trees. So if you keep moving your trees and it's not settled in its roots, you are forcing it to restart its fruit timeline. So find a home in your yard so your roots can grab hold and protect from cold when needed. Stop moving it. So If your tree is in a pot, that's a great protection, but the pots must be big enough. Pots that are too small, it keeps the roots spinning in circles and the tree stays in survival mode. So if your tree is in a pot, only move it for weather support. Move it into a shelter right before a cold night. Bring it right back when the weather improves. You want the roots to feel like the tree belongs here, even if you're rolling it inside or somewhere else. So roots need to feel safe because fruit only begins when the tree feels like it can stay there and stay put. So this one may be hard to hear. And listen, sometimes your tree is just not ready yet. It is still building roots. It is still building energy. Producing fruit is that final step. If everything you checked looked good, you gave the tree time to mature, and it will pay you back. Patience produces fruit. Once you identify the problem, fix that problem, fruit will follow. And if you do not find a problem, that just means that it's too young. So timing will handle the rest. You actually are closer than you think. So tell me in the comments, what tree are you working on? We will fix it together. Don't forget to grab my book, Florida Grow List, and check out my interactive planting guide right on the channel, rootedinjays.com. And just know, we are rooting for you. This book was started right here in our backyard. I wanted something that works for real Florida gardeners. No fluff, no fancy terms, just plants that actually thrive here. Inside this Florida Grow List, I got 30 plants that won't let you down, plus the stories that drove me to planting a lot of these trees and a lot of the mistakes that I have learned along the way. So whether you got a patio, a porch, a patch of backyard, or a full backyard, this book right here is what you need to help you get going. So grab your copy and flip to your favorite fruit or your must-have, and let's start planting smart, not hard. So don't forget to grab your copy so you can enjoy these cherries too. Bye.